Hello, everyone. This is attorney Joe Pometto, Joe the lawyer here. Today, we're going to talk about this article that was printed on March 27th. Joe Exotic sues feds, appeals to President Trump for pardon. I'm going to give you, we're going to run through the article, give you a quick legal analysis and my opinion on it. If you like my content, do me a favor, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'm really trying to get to about 1,000 shares. I'm an attorney. I do legal analysis on news and anything else in the legal world. All right, let's dive into this article. It was printed by True Crime Daily, great website. And we can see here's Joe Exotic, also known as Joe Maldonado Passage. That's his real name. Looks like his mugshot or close to it. Joe Maldonado Passage, better known as Exotic Joe from the popular Netflix Tiger King docuseries. And listen, if you haven't seen Tiger King, you should go watch it. It is tragic, sad, hilarious, interesting, and you just can't take your eyes away from it. I think it was actually really a very well done documentary, film-wise. So, Joe Exotic from the Tiger King has filed a lawsuit from jail against two federal agencies and assorted government officials and is seeking a pardon from President Donald Trump, the New York Post reported Thursday. The filing names the United States Fish and Wildlife Service and the Department of the Interior, as well as 5 individuals. Maldonado Passage reportedly announced the lawsuit and his appeal in his Facebook post last week. He's seeking $94 million from agencies and individuals. Oh, good luck, sir. Good luck. Plaintiff is seeking the loss of personal property, 18 years of research and care of 200 generic tiger breeds and crossbreeds for 365 days a year for 18 years at a boarding rate of $60 a day per animal for a total of $78,840,000 and an additional $15 million for false arrest, false imprisonment, discrimination, malicious prosecution, selective enforcement, misinterpreting the law, and the death of Shirley Schreibvogel. So, Schreibvogel was Maldonado Passage's mother. So that's one thing I had already heard about this lawsuit, is that he was suing them. He's saying that them putting him in jail killed his mother. That could very well be true, because sometimes parents take tragedy, seeing another loved one die or go to jail really, really hard. That may well be true. Maldonado Passage is serving 22 years in prison in a bizarre murder for hire plot. Bizarre doesn't even begin to describe everything that happened in that show. He's currently held in Grady County Jail in Oklahoma. Prosecutors said Maldonado Passage paid an undercover agent $3,000 to travel from Oklahoma to Florida to murder a woman there and promised thousands more after the hit was done. The target, Carol Baskin, is a high-profile critic of Joe Exotic's Wynwood, Oklahoma Animal Park and his treatment of animals there. Maldonado Passage was also indicted on 19 counts of wildlife charges, accused of violating the Endangered Species Act. I have been legally charged with these crimes, and the Trump administration, the United States Department of Interior, along with the Federal Wildlife Service, must be held accountable for what they have done to me, my parents, and my family, along with my animals. Thank you, and please share, the Post reads. In a Facebook post this week, Maldonado Passage reportedly writes, "Now is the time Oklahoma residents and you step up and call Governor Stitt and ask him to fax this letter to President Trump and do the right thing, and that is pardon me or bond me out during my appeal for the sole reason this is injustice and a man who has done nothing but good for the people of Oklahoma was wrongfully convicted." The New York Post reports Maldonado Passage is representing himself in the lawsuit and has filed it in federal court. So first of all, the problem with this lawsuit is he's suing them for false arrest, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, but those charges are pretty much dead on arrival because he was convicted at a trial. I believe it was a jury trial, but he was convicted at a trial. So once you lose at a trial, no court is going to listen to those types of charges without overwhelming evidence to say otherwise, because a jury got to hear his case, he got to defend it, the prosecutor put it on, and they found him guilty. So how can you say that it was a malicious prosecution or false imprisonment if you've been convicted of the actual crimes? I mean, he's an overwhelming of evidentiary burden that he won't be able to meet. Now, he's also seeking the loss of his personal property, which would likely only be recoverable if he could prove that he was falsely arrested, falsely imprisoned, discriminated, and maliciously prosecuted against. And again, since he lost his trial, that almost certainly is not going to be this case. The only good thing that this lawsuit's done for Joe Exotic is get him some media publicity. That's really the only weapon he has right now, being locked up in jail, and possibly getting the message to President Donald Trump. Now, I spoke in my last video about this. You know, Donald Trump, he has pardoned a lot of high-profile individuals. Many of you know he pardoned Sheriff Arpaio. I'm not sure what Sheriff Joe Arpaio down in Arizona was actually guilty of, okay, something to do with his enforcement of the immigration laws. Donald Trump pardoned him. Donald Trump pardoned Rod Blagojevich, who had sold the Obama Senate seat and tried to sell it for like $250,000. And I think he also had, who else did he? That New York police chief, he pardoned him, and he pardoned one of the DeBartolos, the football-owning family out in San Francisco. Now, here's the thing. None of those crimes were crimes of violence. That makes a big difference when it comes to pardoning. Crimes of violence, even no matter how much money you steal, crimes of violence are viewed very harshly in this country, and it's hard for someone even like Donald Trump to pardon somebody who put out a hit to have somebody killed. Okay, so his chances of getting the pardon are very low. His chances of winning on this lawsuit are low, and he's likely, honestly, the best claim in there is the death of Shirley Schreibvogel, but really what they're going to say is that Joe did that, right? Joe caused this case to be brought against him. So it's likely going to be dead on arrival. Another interesting aspect of this case is because of the Endangered Species Act involvement, I believe that he was actually prosecuted by the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, which again is just an interesting little tick there. Is the Fish and Wildlife Service has a law enforcement arm. Very, very interesting. And the Fish and Wildlife Service, and perhaps even the Department of the Interior. Usually on federal cases, you got the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. But it looks to me like there might have been agents from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So, Big Joe Exotic is in a lot of trouble. If you watch the movie, the allegations in the movie, these are all allegations, all right? I don't know what's true and what's not. And I'm just basing this on a documentary. In the documentary, Joe had allegedly paid $3,000 to this gentleman who was working at his zoo. And this guy just took the money and left town, okay? He had allegedly paid that money to kill Carol Baskin. And that individual ended up flipping and working with United States law enforcement to get Joe prosecuted. And then they had a confidential undercover agent, you could call them a CI, I guess, work to set up the subsequent hit for Carol Baskin for $3,000. Now, did they actively work to sort of set Joe up? Yeah, but they were likely everything that they did was legal. And once Joe paid that money to have someone killed, he was pretty much done. He was going to be dead on arrival. He was really going to have no chance at trial. I mean, he paid two people, two different occasions, $3,000 to have this woman killed, and it's hard to say that he did. It's hard to say that he didn't mean it or that he wasn't serious. I mean, he's a very charismatic, loud type dude, but he just went too far. He let his ego get the better of him, and he's going to be. I'm actually surprised he didn't get a life sentence. 22 years Joe Exotic will probably get out one day if he lives into his 70s. So I found this article interesting. I wanted to talk to you guys about it a little bit. That what this is a civil lawsuit here. It's likely going to be dead on arrival. He may have appeals working through the criminal courts as well that I'm not aware of, and those are probably going to be well, it depends on what happened with his trial, and if all the rules of evidence and everything was on the up and up with his trial. I can't speak on that, but he did lose at a trial. So I found this interesting because again, the Joe Exotic story and the whole Tiger King documentary is just mind-blowing and captivating. It's very interesting, and like a lot of people on Facebook said, it came at the perfect time during our quarantine. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I'm Joe Pometto, Joe the lawyer. I'm a Pittsburgh attorney with my own solo practice. I do criminal defense, personal injury, civil litigation, family law. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Also, sign up for my email list. You sign up for my email list, you get a free PDF on what to do when pulled over by the police. But especially, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Want to bring new people in. Thank you very much for watching.